Hey guys, Pete here. This is going to be my 10 things you might have missed in Twin Peaks Season 3, Episode 13. Spoiler warning, if you haven't watched Episode 13, please stop watching now. You've been warned. So a little bit out of order, I'm doing the 10 things video first, but I've been digging into all the theories and things around some of the crazier parts of Episode 13, so I figured I might as well just knock this one out when I was looking at them. The first thing you might have missed is this guy right here is credited as the farm accountant in the credits. He's an interesting character because he looks out of place, so people were asking about him in both the comments and on Twitter, and I just thought about it when I was doing my second watch that it's kind of a callback what he says. He says, "Do you need any money?" Now that's kind of funny because you remember that Evil Coop made a point to say that he doesn't need anything, he wants things. But the main reason I put this guy in is because it kind of led to the second one, which is, the second thing you might have missed is Evil Coop is technically the boss of the farm now. Like the whole process of that scene of him saying, "Do you need any money?" and the other part where they gave him his cell phones when he asked, it just dawned on me that whether he wanted to be their boss or not, he not only defeated the boss that they had, but he killed him by punching him in the face. So basically everyone at that place now has to do whatever Evil Coop says, which should be kind of interesting, especially now that Richard Horne is there as well. So yeah, I mentioned that I like these guys, the look of these guys in the top moments video, but I also equally enjoy the idea that he can get them to do whatever he wants now that I thought of it. The third thing you might have missed was the blue rose tattoo that we see on the girl who is crying at the roadhouse when James is singing. Her name was Renee, and a lot of people had commented on the last video about her two tattoos. There's a rose and there's a date that says 6/7/63. Well, it turns out that this actress has both of these tattoos, so I think it's safe to say that the date 6/7/63 doesn't mean anything in relation to Twin Peaks unless they wrote it in there after the fact. She has the tattoo because that's the date of her grandparents' anniversary. The rose, on the other hand, they may have picked her in casting because she had a rose tattoo, but she definitely had it already. She didn't get it for the filming, obviously, and they also didn't draw it in or something. It's just a regular tattoo that she already had. So I kind of don't think that either one of these things are important, but they're still neat to notice. The fourth thing you might have missed was that Sarah Palmer's scene was crazy. No, I'm sure you saw that. But there's a couple of things that stand out here. One is that she's drinking, and that there's two rabbits there by her television. A lot of people have made a connection that might be important because David Lynch made was it a web series called Rabbit that starred Naomi Watts? There's also the callback to the rabbits that Hawk mentions when he's talking to Lucy and Andy. And then other people have pointed out that it's a boxing match, so maybe it is Bushnell that she's watching. I can't really see what the connection would be there, but he is a boxer, we know that. The fifth thing you might have missed is also about Sarah, and this is one that I saw on Reddit yesterday, I think. Redditor Ericolai X says that we all noticed that it's looping, right? Her scene is looping there. And people had been connecting that to the idea that the Woodsman scene was looping as well. So this guy went back and he started both at the exact same time, and as it turns out, each sequence has the exact same length. So there's other similarities. Sarah drinks once per sequence in the loop, and the Woodsman would say drink full once per sequence. So this could lead to a lot of speculation. It could be that she is the girl who had the moth frog crawl into her mouth, although that never really made a lot of sense. It could be an indication that that is the case. Of course, the horse is a recurring symbol in Sarah's life, and we did hear a horse at the end of that sequence. And then Woodsman in general, she mentioned that men were coming, so there may be a connection with her and that place. But, like most of the things in this show, that it's pretty speculative all the way around. Interesting to know that they're the same length, though, for sure. So that's a good catch by Ericolai X. The sixth thing you might have missed is in part 13 at the gas farm, we see that Big Ed has a bear's head more specifically, on his desk that says, "Bear with me," and it has a bell there that you can ring to get his attention if he's not in the room. Another Redditor, ZTI Winterfell, pointed out that Johnny's bear has a body and no head. So this is probably not important at all, but these two images look hilarious side by side, and I laughed when I saw them. So tell me what you think, if anything, that all means. The seventh one is also dealing with Big Ed, and I saw something about this on Twitter first, and then it came up on Reddit later. It appears that Ed's reflection doesn't match up with what he's doing during that scene. Now, Spartan048 on Reddit posted the video, and I've watched it a bunch of times, and I really don't know how to describe it better than that, except for it's not the same. Like, you should really actually watch it yourself to see what I mean, because you kind of see him looking at himself, or his reflection, and it looks like it picks up the cup of soup whenever he's not doing that. It doesn't last but for a couple seconds, but you can see it if you watch it closely. The eighth thing you might have missed is that nothing in the furniture in the room that Audrey and Charlie are in looks to be modern. Like, none of it is new. Like, there's not like a collection of old and new things. It really all looks to be like mid-20th century. So that's interesting. I mentioned it in the Top Moments video that it's starting to get harder to imagine that everything's okay wherever Audrey is or whatever's going on with her. And I was reading Alexandra von Eckstein's article on the episode, and she was talking about a play called No Exit, where the cast is stuck in hell and are unable to find their way out of the room that they share. That's sort of how things were going for her. Like, she wants to leave, but she can't. She doesn't know how far away the roadhouse is. Charlie even says something about, like, the end of her story, so something seems wrong. I also mentioned that there are several theories going around, with the most popular being that she is still in a coma that she got into after that bank explosion. There's other ones that are like she might have brain damage, she could be in therapy, and Charlie could be her therapist. One that she's dead and she's in some sort of transitional space or hell or something like that, purgatory. So yeah, there's a lot of things out there. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments, because I think it's getting more and more obvious that she's not in present time Twin Peaks trying to head out to the roadhouse like the conversation is going. The ninth one is all about time, and a lot of people pointed this out. Bobby enters the double R, he's talking to Big Ed and Norma, and he says, well, we found some stuff that my dad left today. Right away, that set off alarm bells for a lot of people, because that seems to be out of time with other things that we've seen. If that is the case, and it's not a continuity error, then this would be hard evidence that the timeline is out of order. And that's to say, if he's actually talking about the tube, the metal tube that they found, it's very possible they could have found something else, but I get it. I get why people are bringing this up, because it does seem like the implication is more likely that time is not in order. So it's very confusing to me. That's why I don't really offer an answer one way or another. When it comes down to stuff like this, you know, people can prove it one way or the other based on their observation. So yeah, there's people out there that are saying that it's very clear. There is a timeline up on Reddit, but then there's also people making good arguments for it not being as well. So you know what I mean? We're going to have to wait and see. I am not ready to pass judgment. I mean, I think there probably is some things that are out of order, but I can't tell you more than what we just saw in this scene. Like, you know, some weird things have happened, but I haven't organized them all to deliver it in that way. And the 10th thing you might have missed was the ring and the Dutchman. I mean, obviously you didn't miss the ring, but it seems that the intent, as we could tell, was to get Evil Coop back into the Red Room. Ray says someone he didn't recognize, a guard he didn't recognize, brought him the ring while they were in jail. He wanted this to go down that way because there's something inside of you that they want. So it's a plural. And then he asks him where Jeffries is, and he says he's at the Dutchman. So one of the things I saw about that was maybe this is a reference to the Flying Dutchman, which is a ghost ship that can never dock. You know, it's sort of supposed to be like eternally doomed to travel between worlds kind of thing. But the thing that stands out to me about this is if there's one ring, and it was kind of implied that there was, as Mike put it back in the exact same place there, does this mean that Jeffries is working with Mike? Or does it mean that Mike is impersonating Jeff? Does it mean Mike's related at all? Can anyone take the ring and then it just always comes back whenever someone's wearing it? I don't really know. Definitely a cool episode. I did experience a little bit of fatigue here, though. Like, I like the way that this one started out after the last one sort of ended slowly, but then this one kind of did the same thing. And while it was mysterious, I'm hoping that the next episode will be another pickup episode where a lot of stuff happens, because I don't think that, well, what's the way to describe it? I don't think it feels right at this point. Of course, Audrey and Sarah are important characters here, but I would like to see that their mysteries kind of move closer to being solved rather than drifting in different directions. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you have not yet. Make sure you check out my other videos and hit the subscription notifications thing after you subscribe so you know when a new video comes out. Definitely let me know what you're thinking about in the comments. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you soon.